Hey guys, okay, we're live on Periscope. Let me go live on Facebook. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're here. Very exciting day today. We're going over hashtags. It's gonna be a good one. I'm gonna try to go kind of fast because I have Leah coming over. We're gonna edit her course videos. So I gotta be quick today, but we have a lot to go over because it's hashtag day. So we're creating our content strategy, our hashtag section of our content, which is gonna be awesome. If you haven't been here before, I'm Rosemary Watson. I run a production studio and I'm also a styled stock photographer, and I basically just help women build businesses. I help them create brand identities, websites, courses. I do all kinds of stuff, photography, videography. I basically just help women build a business from the ground up, which is awesome. So if you want to know more about me, you can find me at rosemarywatsonproductions.com. Yay for hashtag day. It's going to be a really good one. I have like a whole page of notes. I'm so excited to share with you guys. If you haven't opted in, you can do so at bit.ly/IGintensive2017. You can get the updated toolkit with the updated schedule, the tool guide that I use a lot, hashtag lists, all kinds of good stuff, my glossary, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, that'll be in there as well. Yesterday we talked about the copy in your hashtag, so hopefully that helps you out. If you want to rewatch the replays, there are replays on Periscope and replays on Facebook Live that are going to be on there until next Wednesday, so make sure you catch those before they come down. Today, we're going to go over hashtags. If you have questions, feel free to leave them. I'll rewatch them and I'll answer them in the Facebook group. Me and my assistant have been trying to get those together and compile them and answer them there. We're gonna kind of go over that today more. So if you've been waiting for your questions to be answered, they're coming. But yeah, feel free to answer or ask here and then I'll go through at the end. Okay, so today, hashtags. Why do we use them? What are they? Hashtags are the pound sign and then the specific keywords that you want to make your posts more searchable. That is the point of using hashtags. It makes your post searchable. It gives you farther reach, which is the opportunity for people's eyes to see your posts. It's just basically like a search function. So when people go up to that search tab in Instagram and they type in certain keywords, your posts show up. That is the point of using hashtags. Instagram gives you 30. You're allowed to put 30 in either your posts or in the first comment. Those are the two places you can put your hashtags, either in your post copy or in the first comment below your posts. Now you can hack your way into using 60. I'll share with you guys the trick to doing that in a little bit. But the whole point of it, like I said, is to become more searchable. So a lot of people ask, 30 hashtags, like my post about, my recipe for paleo, I can't think of 30 hashtags. The whole point of this is to, again, you're just trying to get more eyes seeing your content, so it doesn't necessarily have to match exactly with what you're posting. So I share Mood Board Mondays a lot because I want people, when they type in the hashtag Mood Board Mondays, to see my posts come up. I would like to be searchable. Who do I think is going to be looking for that? Probably people that are finding inspiration for their brands, who then would be maybe a good fit as a client for me, and so I'm gonna use those Mood Board Monday posts. Even though I don't always post mood boards on Monday, maybe I post it on a Wednesday or maybe I post it on a Saturday, I'm still going to use Mood Board Monday as a hashtag. Maybe not like my first hashtag, maybe I'll put it down the list a little bit further. But I'm always going to use that hashtag even though it's not necessarily Monday, because when I have people search that keyword, that term, I want my posts to come up every time. So it doesn't have to actually match every single time. Hi Jana, hi Fawn, I'm so glad that you guys are here. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't have to match your posts exactly. It's just making you more searchable and getting more eyes to see your feed. So 60, the way you can do 60 hashtags is if you do, I schedule my stuff in Grum. You can schedule yours in anything. I think Buffer has an Instagram option. Hootsuite has an Instagram option. There's a lot of different options where you can schedule your posts ahead of time. But even if you're doing it real time on Instagram or on a scheduler, you can either put your hashtags in the copy or in the first comment. The trick to doing 60 is if you put them in your very first content and then publish your post and your post goes live, you can then go back into your actual copy of your post, click edit, and then add 30 more hashtags, up to 30 more in that post. So you're kind of tricking the system and giving your post even more opportunity than before with 30 hashtags. Now you can get found with 60, which is great. So try that hack out if it works for you. Make sure you test it. So say you put 30 hashtags in the copy and then you do 30 more in the comments. Check both places and make sure you're showing up in the first row of when you search that hashtag in the search function on Instagram. But that's just the way you can hack around it, which is awesome. The whole point of it also is to make sure you're at the top of the search. So I don't know about you guys, but I don't spend hours and hours and hours searching a hashtag. I'll usually go through, okay, repeat that. Let me repeat that. Okay, so to hack around going to 60 hashtags, when you either schedule it on a scheduler like Grum or Hootsuite, or if you're posting real time on Instagram, do your post and put your hashtags in the first comment when you push publish. Publish your post, then you can go back, click the edit button on your post and add 30 more hashtags in the post copy. So whenever you're doing an actual post and you're writing the words before you click the post button, that's where you can add 30 more. So you have 30 in the first comment and you have 30 in the post copy. Hopefully that makes sense. It is confusing, but you can go online too. If you just Google how to add 60 hashtags, I'm sure you'll be able to find up like an article or a blog post, or I found this trick from a PDF that I was sent. So you can find out. The person I got that from was SM Audience. So if you search at SM Audience, you can download their guides and explain step by step with like a little with pictures and stuff. So you can reference that if you need help. Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. So you want to be staying on the top of the feed when you're clicking search, when you're searching the hashtag. So say I used community over competition and it was a Monday morning at 8 a.m. and I typed in my post, community over competition hashtag. Right after I post, if I go over and click on that and it opens up the community over competition hashtag feed, my post will show up on the top because hashtags posts are shown real time. So if I go back 2 hours later and I put in that hashtag community over competition, my post is going to show up way farther down the line because it's going real time. So you want to make sure you have all those hashtags that you want to be seen with right away. And if you're going to add those extra 30, go in right away, click edit and add those hashtags because you want to show up. You're not going to have people scrolling for days and days and days, right? So especially if you have a hashtag that's really populated, so if you have a hashtag that you're using that's like hundreds of thousands of people use it every day, it's not going to be seen, right? So you want to make sure you're constantly using these hashtags so your work can be shown up in that gallery of hashtag images. It's a lot of like crazy words like all thrown together. There are ways to get yourself up in the top 9. So when you search a hashtag, they'll have like the most engaged posts using that hashtag as the top 9 posts before you start scrolling. There are ways to go and hack your way into that. A lot of it has to do with like the size of your account, your following, and the density of people using that hashtag. It's hard to explain right here, so I would Google that. If you want to Google, type in how to get to the top 9 on Instagram hashtags. If you Google that, things might come up and it'll tell you step by step. It has to do with you want to make sure you're using hashtags that are at least like no more than 10 times your account. I have almost 12,000 people. I wouldn't want to use hashtags if my goal is to get to the top 9. I wouldn't want to use any hashtags that are more than 120,000 posts as their density. It's very confusing. So if you're lost, Google it. But there's definitely ways to hack your way into the top 9 or the featured posts using that hashtag. Okay, so before you start using these hashtags, please make sure you're doing your research. You definitely want to take a lot of time in day 1 that we talked about, really knowing what your goals are and really, really knowing who you're trying to target. I see a lot of people that are, okay, let me just give this example, doTERRA advocates. So if you're doing like hashtag doTERRA, that's great, but I'm sure a lot of people that are searching that hashtag already use doTERRA. Right? So if your goal is to find people that don't know about doTERRA or aren't using that essential oil right now, maybe using hashtag doTERRA might not be the best fit for you. If you're trying to find new people, they're probably searching healthy living. So hashtag healthy living or hashtag natural wellness or hashtag healthy mama or hashtag essential oils maybe, or hashtag soap makers or candle makers or all the different kinds of things. So don't think about it so literally, right? Think about it as what is your ideal audience searching for on Instagram? And that is how you show up in that search feed, right? So we want to make sure we're really figuring out what we want to accomplish. So what's the point? If you're just trying to get as many people to follow your page as possible so you have social proof and your following is just kind of like elevated, then use whatever hashtags you want, just as many as you can to get as most people to follow you. If your goal is very specific and you want to work with very specific people and you have very specific goals, choose your hashtags wisely and make sure you're putting those hashtags in to reach the people that you want to see your posts, right? Because it's really no point in growing your following if they're not going to end up being customers, right? So just make sure you're using that. So just because the hashtag like Fashion Week, during Fashion Week, there's tons of posts and tons of eyes are on that post. That's not my ideal audience, so I'm not going to use that. No matter how popular that hashtag is, no matter how many people see my posts when that comes up in the hashtag feed, if those aren't my clients, I'm not going to use that, right? So just try to make sure you're really being aware of that. Okay, let's talk about types of hashtags. So there's really 5 different categories. Number 1 is niche. Number 2 is industry hashtags. Number 3 is location hashtags. Number 4 is branded hashtags. And like event hashtags or like celebration hashtags, as I like to go, I like to call it that because it can kind of encompass a lot of things. So niche hashtags are just what it sounds like. When we did the research in day 1, I had you guys figure out what's your industry and what's your niche. So industry hashtags would be like hashtag blogger, hashtag wedding pro, hashtag even like wedding photographer, hashtag essential oils, hashtag whatever your overarching industry is, you can use those hashtags in your posts. Niche, going a little bit further, it would be like hashtag female entrepreneur or hashtag, Whole30 blogger. Maybe you have a Whole30 blog dedicated to recipes for the Whole30. That would be your niche. It's very, very targeted and very dialed in. So you know that people that are searching that hashtag really want what you're selling or really want what you're sharing on your Instagram feed. Branded hashtags would be like the Rising Tide Society. So hashtag community over competition, hashtag Rising Tide Society. So it's very specific brand hashtags. So also savvy business owners, that's one that I've been using. Hashtag, I would consider even things that are like the Instagram challenges that I've been doing. So I did Jenna Kutcher's and I think hers was, oh, dang it, cracking the Instagram code or something like that. She had a hashtag. Yes, thank you for sharing that opt-in. I do have a lot of these listed in that toolkit when you get that opt-in, so make sure you get that and look at that PDF because there's a lot of these listed. But yeah, branded is just very brand specific. So, savvy business owners, Rising Tide Society, that kind of stuff. Location would be obviously where you're at. So Phoenix hairstylists, hashtag Texas weddings, hashtag New York barbershop, whatever you want it to be. So if that's your goal, if your target market is local, definitely use those local hashtags, right? Like hashtag Phoenix nanny, hashtag Mesa preschool, so the moms that are looking for those things can find you. And obviously the more often you post and the more you pop up on those hashtags, the more likely you are to get in front of these people. So just consistency is important. And then events or celebrations, obviously what it sounds like. So Fashion Week, hashtag New York Fashion Week, hashtag hashtag Holly Jolly Christmas, hashtag Happy Easter, hashtag, but be very specific. So Happy Easter, millions and millions and millions of people are going to be using that. So try to get a little bit more specific when you're using those event and celebrations. Hashtag certain weddings. So if you're a wedding photographer and you know that the bride and groom are going to be using like K&K Thompson wedding, and you know that a lot of their friends are going to be getting married soon, use that in your posts. Absolutely use that when you're posting things so you can get more people's eyes that are the best fit for your business on your posts. So those are really the 5 different niche, industry, location, event, and branded hashtags. Try to get a good mix of those. There is definitely specific like math equations to try to get your engagement up. People try to use the Instagram algorithm to their benefit as much as possible, which is great, but it's really like one big giant math equation. So if you're gonna get into it and really wanna get specific, Google more information about this, trying to hack your way into the top 9, or what's the best breakdown for the different types of hashtags. For me, there's rabbit fuzz everywhere. Our baby bunnies are inside right now and they're like hair everywhere. I don't really take into so much account, like I don't spend a lot of time trying to give like an even amount of the certain types of hashtags. I just make sure I have 30 every single time. There are some people that are like, oh, if you use 14 hashtags, you're gonna get more engagement, or there's a specific like 22 instead of 30. I don't do all of that. All I know is I'm gonna max out what they give me so I can get the best chance of the most eyes to see my stuff. So however you wanna work that, just know that you have 30, but you can hack your way into 60. The way I keep track of these is I have been using Evernote, but now I use Airtable. Airtable is like Google Spreadsheets on steroids. I really love it. So in my spreadsheet, I have the different hashtags for all of my accounts that I manage. So I manage client accounts, and then I have a few of my own. I have all the different sets in one document with different tables, and then I just have like Mood Board Monday. I have my 3 sets of hashtags I use that are all mixed up, all listed in there. So when I'm going to schedule my posts, I just copy and paste right into Grum from that list. I had been using Evernote, which is great because if you're posting real time, you can just double tap your phone and then Evernote can come up. You can really quick go and copy and then go back to Instagram and paste. So any document that makes it really easy for you to quickly copy and paste if you're posting real time with your phone, or you can access from your desktop computer, so you can quickly copy and paste as well when you're scheduling them on your desktop. However that works, just get yourself an organized system. I know there's a lot of people that do the like text, what do you call that? Like the text replacement. So if you type in a certain like phrase, their phone will automatically add in that list of hashtags. You can do that, that works too. Just make sure you have a system and keep those things organized. I like to mix up sets. So like I said before, my Mood Board Mondays, I have a set of 3 different groups of hashtags and I mix them around to see what works best. Text expander on your phone works well for pasting. Yeah, that's exactly, so like text replacement, it's the same type of thing. Mix up your sets and test to see what works. If you have a certain group and you're seeing when you look at your analytics that certain hashtag groups are not getting as high as engagement as the other ones, then you know to get rid of that or change up a few hashtags in there. But you're never gonna know unless you track. So tracking is key when you're doing all of these and testing out other things. So every month I actually go back when I'm doing my Instagram strategy and like reviewing all my stuff. I look and see, okay, what do I want to mix around? Like, what do I want to change? What are some new hashtags that I just discovered along the way and want to try out and mix in? I go through that every month to make sure things aren't getting stale. And how I go and see what's the best hashtags for me too, when you're doing your research on these, definitely look at your industry and see who the leaders of your industry are and what hashtags they're using. A lot of times though, if you're like a leader, like Freshly Picked, they don't use like a bunch of hashtags like kids fashion. They're just like, we don't need to, we're big, you know? So a lot of times that's kind of hard, but look for people that follow them and see what hashtags they're using on their posts, and that might be helpful. So if you also have like aligned audiences, people with aligned audiences. So even though maybe Marie Forleo's not exactly in my industry, she doesn't sell exactly what I sell, I'm still gonna follow her and see what hashtags she's using and what her followers are using. And the great thing is that when you type that in the search feed in Instagram, you will see related hashtags. They actually populate this for you now, which is awesome. So I can type in, so I have a client that does furniture. I can type in Magnolia Furniture because her clients watch a lot of Fixer Upper. That's like the perfect fit for them. So I can type in Fixer Upper and the related hashtags will scroll by, and it might be things that I didn't even think of, like kitchen remodel, HGTV, DIY network, all of those things that I was like, oh, I'm gonna add that to the list because I didn't even think about it. Those are great, it's a great tool to use. What else did I miss? Where to post them? You can post them anywhere. Like I said, you can post them in the actual copy of your Instagram post, or you can post it in your comments. I do comments, but now I think I'm going to start doing both because I can do my 60. So choose wherever you want. Okay, so when you're first using these, please test and see what these hashtags are. Make sure that what you want to accomplish is happening. So make sure your ideal audience, because in your mind, you might be like, yeah, I totally think this is a great fit. So I had a client who used a Instagram handle that was very similar, like really similar to an Instagram handle for an adult toy company. And so when we're creating her branded hashtags, I really wanted to make sure we didn't use something where when people clicked on that hashtag, like adult toys came up, right? Like check these hashtags and make sure. If you cook with eggplant, you can't use the eggplant hashtag because check what comes up. Right? Don't use those hashtags. Make sure you check, and you can Google banned hashtags and that list will come up, and so you can be really careful not to do that because they could shut your account down, right? Not only can you create inconsistency for your clients, but they might shut your account down if you use something banned. So really make sure you're doing your due diligence. Track performance. Oh, okay, so hashtag performance. There is a way to track that. I don't do that because I feel like it's super time consuming to see like hashtag by hashtag. Yeah, don't go look at that. Don't look at the hashtag eggplant. So you can track this, but I don't. You can pay different companies to do this. So there's like Simply Measured. Iconosquare Pro has a hashtag performance feature. I've never tried it, but it exists. And then SM Audience, like I said, that's where I found the PDF about the 60 hashtag hack. Go find them on Instagram at SM Audience and see if they can help you with that, if that's something you're interested in, is seeing like hashtag by hashtag what your reach is when you use each one. But that's really going pretty deep. I would probably suggest like get going on the rest of your strategy first before you start caring about like those details. And I think that's all I had. Ooh, we got that done really quickly. Okay, so hopefully that helped you guys. Just make sure you're using as many hashtags as you can to try to get your reach expanded. And tomorrow is scheduling, which I love scheduling because it has been the biggest time saver of my flippin' life. So we'll go deep into that. I'll put a list of the tools and the references that I talked about here today in the Facebook group. You can find that Facebook group, the Instagram Collaborative on Facebook. It's free. Be invited to join. We'll accept you, and then you can get a link to all these resources, and just make sure you opt in. Yep, you're so welcome. See you guys tomorrow, and if you have any more questions, just leave them in the Facebook group and I'll answer them. See you guys.